And I know they thought this was odd at KCET, and they thought we were doing it for them. We were really doing it for us. We were trying to remind people there were two shows or two stations in the market, and they both had good shows, and you had an option, one or the other. And we thought if we could just make that point, we were going to make great progress from where we were at the time. And the audiences at that point began to grow, and a number of other audience strategies were implemented after that. Of course, we then decided we had to get on Mount Wilson, because with the advent of digital, we knew we had to be higher. And so we went to Mount Wilson, which expanded our reach into the entire market. Just think, if we hadn't made that decision, we wouldn't have been in a position to pick up the ball when KCET left PBS. We wouldn't have been in position to be the primary PBS station right away, as we ultimately were. We think a lot about those things. Of course, we were owned by the school district once, and we had to go through a difficult sale, and then we had to go through the difficult lawsuit defending the station from the televangelist group that thought that they should have won the bidding. And all of that took many years and was a big drain on the station. And shortly after that, the recession came. So it's not been an easy ride getting to a point where we could become the primary station in Southern California. Nevertheless, we were very successful in connecting with our local community in Orange County. We were very successful in building a very Republican board, which worked in Orange County. We may have the most conservative Republican board in all of public broadcasting, which of course we're expanding now throughout Southern California into a much more balanced board. But of course, what we did was what we had to do to survive in the environment we were in and provide relevant service, including a nightly local news show and many other things that were really focused on Orange County. Now, of course, our focus is all of Southern California, and there's so much to do, it's hard to know where to begin. You know, our ratings have grown. We're thrilled that the best thing about ratings for us is that in prime time, our gross rating points are today higher than KCET's gross rating points were when they were the primary station. And we're very pleased that we've had that success, and they're significantly higher. Of course, we have much bigger challenges with whole day audience. KCET was such a household word and such a habit for so many people who would just graze and think of KCET's channel number and think, I'm gonna check on PBS. And those are the people that we're still trying to get. We're still a long way to go to catch up in total whole day viewership to where KCET was, even though our primetime viewership is very, very excellent at this point in time. You know, there are a lot of initiatives, but the main one was the rebranding initiative to help bring people to us. We knew we had to identify broadly with the market, and we're proud to identify with PBS. And when we did the testing and found that PBS SoCal worked, and we knew PBS would be what we would lead with, not SoCal PBS, but PBS SoCal, we knew it was the right thing to do in terms of hits, in terms of online identification, and of course in terms of making people understand who we are now and what we mean relative to their public media use in this market. It's worked very, very well for us, although we have had a few audiences that haven't come around, and we found that the Latino viewing of our children's programs was down. And so with PBS's help, we've done some paid media in those areas, and then we've worked very hard to get earned media throughout the market and trying to let everyone know exactly what's going on here and why it matters to them. And of course, the proof in the pudding has been in the ratings, and that trend line, that ratings trend line, continues unchanged. Obviously, we know that can't happen forever, but we're thrilled that it is continuing up, and we are able to grow and grow and grow in this market and be relevant. And of course, fundraising follows audience. It always does. We're pledging 45% less than we used to, but bringing in 52% more dollars than we used to as KOCE. And we're very proud of that effort. Of course, our direct mail has really taken off, as many people who used to support KCET have switched over to us because of our PBS shows. We think we've done a great job of looking and feeling like a first-rate PBS station in the #2 market in the country. We worked really hard at making the interstitials strong, and with putting together the snipes and the promos and the vocas and the things we need to put together to hold audience and to keep them around. And that's all been really important to us. So we're proud of being able to do what we think is a very positive reflection on PBS here in this market. Our base of support, we think, is getting more and more secure all the time because we have the PBS brand now. And as anyone will tell you, and all the research shows, people have favorite radio stations, but they have favorite television programs. They typically don't have favorite television stations. And that's an important thing to remember. It's all about the shows. And with the PBS shows, the local content we're developing to augment those now, we think we're in a very strong position for the future. Of course, the American Graduate Project is really important to us, and we're going to ride that horse a long way. And we know that as we work with kids in preschool, as we work with the K through 12 students that we've been serving for years, and we continue to expand that, and even as we look at some continuing education areas, we think American Graduate can resonate to all of it. We're very committed to that, and we're doing a wonderful town hall coming up in the next couple of weeks where Melinda Gates, Pat Harrison, and others will be here. It will be on television, and it's going to involve lots of teachers from all over Southern California. It'll be all about the American Graduate Project, and we're focused on the American Graduate Project with something that we call our Community Champions effort. And what we're going to do now is take a break and take a look at one of our Community Champion spots.
You don't have to look far to find champions in all of our Southern California communities. In the case of Maynard Brown, they're as close as your local high school. A longtime faculty member at Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles, Maynard Brown has been the recipient of countless awards and recognitions throughout his teaching career. As an educator, Maynard strives to develop in his students the practical and relevant skills they will need to be successful in life.
I came here 20 years ago, and when I got here, there was one course in business. It was typing, and I found that to be egregious. And so it's been a 20-year journey for me in introducing entrepreneurship and financial literacy into a community that desperately needs it.
Maynard passionately believes public and private partnerships provide the right resources to get the job done.
It is through Junior Achievement and the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship that we're able to provide financial literacy and entrepreneurship in the classroom. We want to make sure that when our young people graduate from high school, that they have the tools necessary to make responsible decisions and be productive citizens in their community. They can't do that in an educational environment which doesn't give them the tools to conduct the business of life.
His students unanimously agree that lessons learned in Maynard's classes help prepare them for the challenges of life, all while changing their lives for the better.
Before I came here, my dreams and stuff were all over the place. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but Mr. Brown helped me get them on track and set me off so I can go to college, get my degree, and start my business.
He really motivates me to have no limit towards what I can be. He always encourages me and pushes me to do more than I even imagine myself doing.
Maynard's heartfelt commitment to his profession is respected by his colleagues as well.
Maynard cares deeply about these students, and he is also willing to extend himself beyond any accountabilities that are external to the school. It's his own internal accountabilities that keeps him striving to make a difference for students.
And make a significant difference, he does. Just as his own life has been profoundly influenced by the young people he teaches.
The meaning and what I get from what I do on a daily basis provides a lot of joy. People often say, you have passion in what you do. It's the young people that I serve that allow me to develop that passion. And so every day that I walk away from here, I walk away with the sense that I've changed somebody's life. And that means everything to me.
Maynard Brown, PBS SoCal Community Champion. Community Champions is part of PBS SoCal's local American Graduate Initiative. Let's make it happen.
One of the biggest challenges of our new reality is the fact that we are in the Los Angeles market. And as I've talked to producers, both for commercial and for non-commercial television, they hate the LA market because their stuff always does more poorly here. The market is so diverse. There are so many non-English speaking viewers who watch non-English speaking channels. There are also so many activities to do and so much outside participation in things, and not to mention all the other distractions and various platforms we have, that it's really hard to get everybody's attention. And even if you repeat something over and over, it's tough. And I'm continually surprised with everything we've tried to do at the number of people who've said, oh, what? Yeah, what happened? Something happened with PBS, and I don't know what it is. We've talked about it on the air. It's been in the paper time after time after time in the LA Times and many other papers. And others have talked about it on the radio. And still it seems that half the market hasn't quite figured it out. All they know is they like that show they found on our station on such and such a night, and that's it. So we're hammering away at it, trying to get the hotels to just put us on the channel where it says PBS instead of having KCET still on the channel where it says PBS in the hotels. The work we have to do throughout the market and in Santa Barbara and Palm Springs as well is huge in getting this known. Now, more people find out about it every day. One of the things we're doing, of course, is this spot on the air that reminds everyone that KOCE is now PBS SoCal.
KOCE has recently become PBS SoCal. PBS for LA and beyond. PBS SoCal is now the home for award-winning masterpieces. TV's most trusted news hour. Everyone's favorite roadshow. Revealing and timely. Frontline. The street that made learning fun. True wonders of nature. Brilliant brains on Nova Science. The history of us. Our American experience. That most curious of Georges. And the greatest of performances. The complete PBS. It's all here. We are PBS SoCal.
Of course, at the end of the day, it's all about content. We realize that. And of course, we're at the early stage of creating content in this market from PBS SoCal. We have a couple of things going on. We have a digital channel called PBS OC, which used to be our OC channel. It contains a lot of acquired content. And one of the things we've learned about this market is there are a lot of people out there who have pretty good shows that they have created, even some series that they've created that we can get our hands on for little or no money. And we found when we were building the OC channel that there is a wealth of that in this market, and a lot of people haven't mined that resource. And so we're very proud of that digital channel and what it's doing. But of course, on PBS SoCal, we just launched our first market-wide show called SoCal Insider. And SoCal Insider recently has had Dianne Feinstein, it's had Governor Pete Wilson, it's had Placido Domingo on, a lot of great guests and a lot of great issues discussed as we've rolled that show out the first of this year. We also just built a brand new studio here in the new building that we moved into at the same time we were switching over to become PBS SoCal. It was a crazy time as we went from the year 2010 to 2011, but we finally got in this new facility, and then 1 year later got the new studios built and on the air. And of course, these studios are state-of-the-art. They're great, and there's a lot more content that can happen from here, as well as content shot in the field, of course, throughout the market. We continue to do Real Orange 2 nights a week for Orange County, and then we do SoCal Insider for the rest of the market. Lots of shows are in development, and that's very important. And I obviously am not going to talk about too many of those. We've got one pretty close called On Tour, which has money for it now. But there are others in development, and as you all know, some of those shows will come to be, and some of them won't come to be. But nevertheless, we've got a lot we're working and a lot we're trying to make happen. I think the most important thing we can do content-wise in this market, and one of the great opportunities on the horizon, is in the area of journalism. We in television need to do more radio-like journalism. We need to do more in covering for the market what needs to be done. And the new technologies and new techniques and partnerships, we think, can make it affordable, far more affordable than it used to be. We're in conversations with some of our public broadcasting colleagues in radio about partnering with them to do news and journalism in Southern California. We want to do a Southern California news collaborative that can live at a lot of places, including here at PBS SoCal, with creation of a lot of content that we can all access. We've just brought Feature Story News, Simon Mark's operation here. They're placing themselves here at PBS SoCal. We'll have access to content they create, which they create for NewsHour and then for China Central Television and other entities all over the world. So it's aggregating the various people who are doing content creation, investigative journalism, and other things, and bringing them all together, and then letting that library of content be used to create the various programs and online efforts and multi-platform efforts as we go forward. We think that's going to be important. Also, making the right decisions in mobile video as TV flies from our transmitters into iPads and iPods and iPhones, which we believe is coming soon, and having the right streams and doing the right things in that regard to support the public media mission is going to be important. We see those things out there as being really critical. As it is now, we're just trying to get bigger and we're trying to get better. And there are a lot of things that we've done that we need to be closer to best practices at. A lot of things we've done we've always been excellent at that we want to do bigger. And those are the things we're focusing on as we continue to grow. Our budget is 40% higher than it was when we became PBS SoCal. We need it to be much higher than that as we attempt to adequately serve this market. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about this. I look forward to meeting you all at some other event in the near future. Thanks.